activity we will get to will be interactive, and it's actually something that you can do with partnerships or teams. You can do it with a family, you can do it with a group of friends. It's a great way to start thinking in terms of strengths filters, starting to look at people through the filter of what are their talents, what are their strengths, how are they using them, how do their strengths relate with my strengths so that we're both successful. So when we talk about strengthening your partnerships, I thought it would be a great idea to start with one of the key questions that we're often asked when someone takes the Strengthsfinder. And that question is, so now I've taken it, now what? How many of you had that question when you took the Strengthsfinder? Now what? Anyone have the now what question? That's it? Just a couple of people. Who have the now what? Like, I got these cool words. Now what do I do with it? And some of you may have taken the Strengthsfinder years back, and it was a nice moment. It was a, it's a nice word, it's a nice things about you, but you didn't really take it any further because there wasn't a lot of information to do anything with the Strengthsfinder. And so tonight I want you to write something down. This might be very helpful for you. This is a free resource from Gallup. The website, GallupStrengthsCenter.com, that's plural, GallupStrengthsCenter.com, is a website that has several free resources. How much does it cost? Free. It's just worth the price of admission. Once you've taken the Strengthsfinder, you've invested your $10. The entire website is then available to you. On that website, there is a report. There are several reports, but there is a key report. It's called the Strengths Insight and Action Planning Guide. The Strengths Insight and Action Planning Guide is about an 18-page report. That report is your roadmap to implementing strengths. It will give you a detailed description of your talent themes in their order. So for a million points for your table tonight, who knows what are the odds of someone having the same 5 in the same order as you? What are they got? Jeremy, what are the odds?
1 in 10,000.
I'm not asking.
3 million.
1 in 33 million. So take a look at your top 5. Take a look at your top 5. The odds of someone having the same 5 in the same order, 1 in 33 million. The Strengths Insight and Action Planning Guide is a description of your themes in that order. Essentially, there are 33 million different reports that Gallup's put together. Don't ask me how Gallup does it, but they are the information people. And that report is specific to your themes in that order. Themes are a grouping of many talents. Talents are the recurring patterns of thinking, feeling, or behavior that can be productively applied. And when we learn what our themes are within those themes, we want to discern and understand what my talent is. Meaning, I can have maximizer. Any of the maximizers in the room tonight? Any of the maximizers? Just 1, 2. You two are way cool. I just want you to know that. So there's 2 other maximizers in the room tonight. Maximizers with the other themes around it, it'll be different depending upon if I'm a maximizer activator or a maximizer strategic. You're a maximizer. Maximizer strategic even. We are kind of dangerous sometimes together. Yeah. So depending on, but if you're a maximizer restorative, that would be very different from a maximizer activator or a maximizer deliberative. So depending on what's around it, that's how they'll interact, and those descriptions are very specific. Also on that website, who knows the website? Gallup what? GallupStrengthsCenter.com. Also on that website, there are several videos to watch. The videos are free, and they're able for you to go on there to learn about your talents, how to apply them. Because when we're thinking about talents, we're stuck with a fundamental challenge. We've been taught to focus on what's wrong, or where we're weak, or where we're not strong. And what the Strengthsfinder is attempting to do is to give vocabulary to the areas where you are strong, you are talented, your potential for greatness exists. But that transition takes time. It takes effort. It takes work to move us from thinking about what I need to work on as opposed to where I'm strong and I can build strength. So I want you to think about that context as we talk about partnerships. Because when we talk about partnerships, we're really talking about a very challenging topic. When 2 people go into business together, do any of you know that it is more likely that they will fail than succeed? 2 people go into business together, it's more likely that they will fail than succeed. How about we say it this way, a different way? 2 people get married today, it's more likely that they will than succeed. Why is that? Why is that a reality? Because different people are coming together, and if we're both focused on what's wrong, we're both focused on where we're weak, then what do we look at in each other? Strength or weakness? Now, without throwing your spouse under the bus, how many of you know your spouse is really good at pointing out your weaknesses?
Yes.
I was waiting for the guys to raise their hands. I was like a free moment to do that. My wife couldn't be here tonight. Our 10-year-old daughter at school today thought that she was getting paid to play capture the flag, apparently, because she ran full speed into one of the big boys in class because he wasn't ever going to get past her to get that flag. Ran full speed into him, knocked herself out, knocked out her front tooth in the process. Ended up with the dentist. Thankfully, they put the tooth back in. She got some stitches. Got concussion. Anyone guess what my daughter's top theme is when she took the
Competitiveness.
competition, baby. Kayla's are all about it. So Ellen couldn't be here tonight, so she's with my competitive daughter, trying to help her, stay cognitive. Yeah, stay with us. But Ellen could tell you that she can point out my weaknesses pretty well. Probably better than anyone in my life. And if two people are together trying to partner, and we so naturally see through the filter of weakness, then what happens when someone's pointing out weakness and we're trying to fix weakness is a very natural occurrence happens within us. We do something in those moments. Does anyone know what we do? Anyone know what happens? What do you think? What do we do in those moments? Someone's focusing on weakness. We're going to try to fix our weakness. What do we do in that setting? We can get defensive. What else? We point out their weakness. What else might we do? And some of you might resemble this. We disengage from the situation. We emotionally and psychologically withdraw. And we emotionally and psychologically withdraw. What happens to the partnership? The partnership begins to deteriorate. Well, in the United States right now, 55% of workers show up in disengaged mode, emotionally and psychologically withdrawn. Another nearly 20% are actively disengaged. They don't only show up emotionally and psychologically withdrawn, they actually show up intending to not engage at all because they're over it. Well, when a partnership has entered the stage where one or both are at the active disengaged, it won't work. So strengthening our partnership starts with the strength filter, that we're looking at each other through the filter of what is right with you, and how can I take what's right with you and what's right with me, and us together working within our strengths produce greatness. Because there isn't a well-rounded person. The myth of weakness fixing is that you can be anything that you want to be as long as you do what? Try hard enough. It's the myth. And as a father of 7 children, ages 4 to 20, I'm doing a strengths lab in my house. That's what it is. In case you're wondering. And as we're working on this, I can tell you that as you're implementing strengths, even within the context of a home and within your partnerships, you're trying to look through the filter of what's right. Where are they strong? Where are they at their best? How do we instill greatness? And it's a challenge. It takes work. It takes time. Anna last month said a great quote. She said, a strengths-based culture starts with one. And so when we start thinking about strengthening our partnerships, we want to start with the perspective that we're looking or trying to change our gaze to see through the filter of strengths. So some of the best partnerships are formed when we think about talents and the talents that complement our partners. We're looking for complementary partnerships. Each of the talent themes, none of us are well-rounded. We need each other. And whether that happens in a formal partnership or in a work-related partnership or even personal or private partnerships, when we look through the talent filter, we significantly enhance the ability for success. 5 guiding principles of strengths that is very important when you're thinking about Strengthsfinder. What can I do with strengths? How can I grow in strengths? The first is that themes are neutral. Turn to someone and say neutral.
Neutral.
Turn to someone else and say themes are neutral.
Themes are
There is
neutral.
no one superstar strength. No one is better than all the rest. They're neutral. They're all necessary. They're all important. Some of them recur more often in us. Adrian just mentioned that less than 6% can have discipline or self-assurance. He didn't put command on there. I think one per you have command. Did anyone else have command in their top 5? 2 commands and 3? 3. Okay. Some of the things are really rare. Command is less than 5% of people have that show up. And then who has achiever? Who are the achievers? 55% of us have achiever in the top 5. So some themes are more common than others, but they're all positive. They're all neutral. The other important aspect of knowing that themes are neutral is that themes can work for us in what we'll call the balcony in a moment, and themes can work against us. Your greatest strengths are also your potential for your greatest weakness. So the Strengthsfinder didn't just uncover your guaranteed area of success, it uncovered the area of the greatest potential for success. The greatest area that if you put effort and you put investment, you put time, you can actually become great at something. But in order to become great, I have to tell you today, you've got to be willing to leave something behind. You have to be willing to leave something behind. Does anyone know what that is?
Or ego.
What's that?
Ego.
Ego. What else?
Your weakness.
You gotta be willing to get the truth that you have weaknesses. You're not going to fix them. You're going to manage them. You're going to partner for them. You're moving on to greatness. Greatness comes when I realize, yes, I have areas that are weak. Yes, I have areas that are blind. We all do. But when we can get to the place of what we call confident vulnerability, where I'm confident in my strengths, and at the same time I'm vulnerable, and I understand I have weaknesses, but guess what I know about you? So do you. And if I know I have strengths and I know I have weaknesses, and we both have those happening at the same time, we can form a partnership. So if themes are neutral and they're not labels, and we want to lead with positive intent, then we get to this lovely truth. The differences are the advantage. It's an advantage when we come with our differences because we need each other. And when a partnership starts on the basis that we need each other, we can create an interdependent partnership where we each bring our best to bless and benefit the other. You can liken it to being on one of two vessels. Let's say today that you're on one of two ships. And one ship is one that's focused on strengths. We're going to focus on interdependence. We're going to focus on living in this place where differences are an advantage to us, that we need each other. Or the other vessel where actually we're just here because we're together to get something, but this isn't really, I'm not really with you. You could say one of those vessels is rooted in codependence. We're together to get that, but we're not partners. Where the other is rooted in interdependence. We need each other to meet the goal. On the one side with codependence, once the goal is reached, it's every man for himself. On the other vessel, once the goal is reached, we share the success of what we did. You can almost liken it to vessel number one, the one where we're codependent, where we're together for a need. It's a pirate ship. And we're a bunch of mercenaries, and this isn't the Disney Pirates of the Caribbean, this is a pirate ship. And if we're pirates on a ship, who are you thinking about first? Me. Who are you thinking about first? Me. Yourself. Absolutely, it's all for me. The other ship, think of a Navy SEAL team. And what are the Navy SEALs about? Does anyone know what their whole focus is? The team. Team first, no man left behind. We're a team. How many of you would choose boat number two? You want to be on the SEAL team? How many of you are stuck in the ocean and you have the option of who's coming to rescue you? Option A, the pirates. Option B, the SEAL team. And we both the SEAL team. Both the SEAL team. Which team do you want to be on? Because your partnership can be built on the vessel of we're just here. It's transactional. It's just business. Whatever happens, happens. It's every man for himself. Or we're in this together. My best benefits you. Your best benefits me. We win when we win. That's the essence of a true partnership. It starts with the ability to see each other through the filter of strength. And so very quickly, they teach you this concept, balcony and basement. Because your top 5 themes, as I said, is your potential for greatness, but it's also your potential for what else? It's your potential for greatness, it's also your potential for what else? For failure, weakness. Your top 5 themes on your chest represent your greatest potential for success and your greatest potential for failure. We call that your balcony and your basement.